Imagine this, your child is born, and before you even take them home, the United States government has already opened an investment account in their name and deposited $1,000 into it. That is the idea behind a new law that was introduced by President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. You might have heard of this initiative as Trump accounts. These new accounts, officially rolling out in 2026, are designed for children under 18 with the goal of helping families save and invest for the future. Every child born between January 1st, 2025 and December the 31st, 2028 automatically qualifies to receive that $1,000 government deposit. Now, it would be nice to have a more substantial investment, but my job here is to convey the details to you and allow you to decide how you feel about this opportunity and if it is something that you would like to take advantage of. Parents, relatives, and even employers can contribute up to $5,000 per year to the account, which will be invested in a fund tracking a broad U.S. stock market index. With that being said, it is fair to say that this is a conservative investment approach. The money grows tax-deferred until the child reaches adulthood. By age 18, that $1,000 could grow into several thousand dollars, even tens of thousands, depending on investment performance and additional contributions. At first glance, it sounds like free money, and it is a win for young families. However, I want to warn you that, as with most things in tax policy and in tax law, the details do matter. Contributions to Trump accounts are not tax deductible. It means that you won't get a break, you won't get a tax break, a write-off for the money that you put in. So I would suggest contributing to these accounts probably should not be on top of your priorities list. I think you can just allow that money to grow. And also you need to check with your employers because they may be able to contribute as well. And this is something that we will cover in this video too. When your child eventually takes money out, the earnings are taxed at their income tax rate at the time of the withdrawal. Plus, there's also a 10% early withdrawal penalty if they use the money before age 59 and a half for non-qualified expenses. With that being said, the account is a benefit and it should be taken advantage of. It is free money, but you need to do it wisely. So first things first, what are these qualified expenses? According to the new tax law, they include higher education costs, withdrawals up to $10,000 for a first-time home purchase, certain small business withdrawals or entrepreneurship expenses, and even up to $22,000 for natural disaster recovery. There are also exceptions for family-related needs, like up to $5,000 for adoption or childbirth expenses. Beyond that, any withdrawals for other purposes will trigger a 10% penalty. This is similar to how IRAs generally work. The idea behind Trump accounts, and this is according to supporters like Senator Ted Cruz, is to help Americans build an early stake in the financial system. In a recent interview, Cruz said there are many Americans who don't own stocks or bonds, are not invested in the market, and may not feel particularly invested in the American free enterprise system. Trump accounts will give everyone a stake. This is a political and economic statement, of course it is, so it is fair to be very skeptical of that statement, but at the same time, we also need to acknowledge that these Trump accounts are a way to encourage investment and financial participation from birth. It could be a really great way for a child to learn about financial literacy and financial responsibility too. Now, if these ideas sound familiar, it is because Democrats have previously proposed something very, very similar. They proposed baby bonds, and those plans also aim to give every newborn a $1,000 government-funded account, but the plan never really went anywhere. It didn't really gain bipartisan traction. Trump accounts, on the other hand, have now made it into law, and it is rolling out in 2026. But financial experts are divided on the usefulness of these new accounts. The $1,000 government contribution may be the only real advantage. It's wise to accept the free money, of course, but it would also be wise for you to look at better, higher yield alternatives for long-term savings. One of these alternatives may be the 529 college savings plan, which allows families to invest money for future education expenses, to grow that money tax-free, and then withdraw it tax-free for qualified educational costs. Unlike Trump accounts, 529 withdrawals for college don't face taxation or penalty, which is a big win. So if you're looking for a tax-savvy option, 529 might be a good thing for you to look into. If you're saving primarily for college, a 529 plan still offers a stronger tax benefit than Trump accounts do. Still, for parents thinking long-term, maybe a child's first home or a future small business, the Trump account does add another option, and there is potential for outside support. Companies like Dell and Goldman, for example, have reportedly expressed interest in matching employee contributions, with Dell now pledging up to $1,000 per child too. So check with your employer. Perhaps they do have a similar program that you can take advantage of. The new law caps employer contributions at $2,500 per year, while parents and relatives can still add up to $5,000 annually. All of it does add up over time, especially with compounding returns. There are also built-in mechanisms for automatic participation. If a qualifying child doesn't have an account opened by their parent or a guardian, the Treasury Department will open one for them. Parents can later opt out if they choose to, but otherwise the account will exist by default. That could mean millions of accounts created automatically for newborns starting in 2026. Without a doubt, this is a massive administrative challenge for the government, but also this is an interesting experiment in government-backed investing. So are Trump accounts worth it? Well, the short answer is probably they are, but only to a point. The $1,000 seed money is an undeniable benefit. By all means, it is worth taking advantage of that. It is a head start for any child's future savings, but beyond that, families will need to weigh whether contributing after-tax dollars to a taxable withdrawal plan makes sense. In my opinion, it doesn't, especially when compared to other options like 529s, Roth IRAs, or traditional custodial accounts. In essence, Trump accounts blend ideas from retirement and educational savings plans into one, but without the full tax advantages of either. That is my personal view. Supporters frame this as a long-term plan to strengthen American ownership culture. Critics, of course, as I mentioned, see it as a politically branded savings plan that adds complexity without solving core affordability issues for education or housing. But one thing is clear: for the next generation of children born between 2025 and 2028, every child gets a $1,000 stake in the market. And while that may not sound like much today, over the years, it could become a handy fund. So if you're a parent expecting a child soon, the Trump account is something to watch closely. Whether you choose to contribute or simply accept the government seed money, it's definitely worth taking advantage of and incorporating into your personal finance. Stay tuned for new updates. I post new videos on a weekly basis, and remember to subscribe, enable notifications by ringing the bell, and I will see you back here soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.